Well. Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. It is a glorious start to December 1st. To happy, it's the holiday season because you can't say like Happy Christmas anymore or some Merry Christmas, whatever the fuck it is, man. You can't say that anymore. It's canceled, but it's okay. We can keep it a secret right here. I'm just trying to wish people well. That's all. Let's talk about some Krown Chain application over here, which we found at app.krownchain.net. And we have so much to follow up on from yesterday. And first things first, that really stands out right here. We do see that open interest has absolutely shot the fuck up from about 2.5 billion that we saw over this weekend, now back again above 3 billion, which does suggest with price action going up, volume going up, volatility all going up, rally's real. Let's do a little bit of spoiling of the surprises, I suppose. And motherfucker, man, I still got my glasses. Need to take these off. All right, let's stow that away for the next nighttime. Anyways, yes, also looking at Bitcoin dominance, popping up another 0.5% as well. So once again, when Bitcoin does move outside of the range, we do see that altcoins not having the best time versus their Satoshi pairing. But I would imagine, or at least I would guess without looking, that most altcoins probably benefiting versus US dollar, just not as much on the whole. And the fear and greed index has absolutely, oh my god, it's actually at literally the highest read that we've seen thus far since recording this data, 1 point higher than the prior highest at a 95 from an 88, which we can go look at in the data tab over here. So again, checking out for any of these canaries in this coal mine, and holy fucking moly, look at that. The global funding rate is actually barking us right in front of our faces right now. And as you can see right here with the fear and greed index, we are literally at the highest level that we've seen. Maybe, I don't know about ever. I believe that we have seen a 96 read before in 2018 or 2017, but we obviously don't have data for that as we just started, as we've only been mining this for so long. But as you can see right here, definitely outside of the range, definitely a bit of an outlier. And more importantly, when we go over to the actual funding rates itself, it is quickly revealed that all major exchanges are actually above that critical 0.1% region. So with that in mind, we do want to carry that into the actual analysis itself. We see FTX at 0.17. We see Bybit at 0.12. Deribit, I think, was up there last I checked. Yeah, 0.09%. And pretty much all exchanges way the fuck up there right now. So it is a bit of a warning signal that, while yes, probably to spoil us a bit of a surprise right here, I do think that Bitcoin likely does have more upside, at least on the month of December. We are at a bit of a critical area right here, and there will be washouts to the downside. There will be very quick and aggressive and violent moves to the downside as the market needs to generate liquidity for itself. And of course, we do want to be cognizant of that massive gap to the downside as well, right around 16, or I think it was like low 17,000 bucks. So with that in mind, we're going to start it off with the secondary charts today, and we're going to go into the monthly right here. Where is my monthly? As we just closed a new month, and we're going to spend some time here. Actually, let's get the fuck off CME. It's not really going to be too relevant for the monthly Bollinger Bands, as it's just not that much history here. But here is the big bad thing as it is right now. Bitcoin closed one of the girthiest, one of the most impressive monthly deltas above the top side Bollinger Band, and I would essentially look at this as kind of judging the rally to continue onwards and upwards on the whole for the month of December. Now again, we're dealing with incredibly big numbers right here. To put this in perspective, I actually do think, not that I think that there's an incredibly high probability that we will see back down to test at the very least somewhere around the top side of the Bollinger Bands, which is currently coming in where? Currently coming in around mid $17,000 region, which I imagine if Bitcoin does come back down around that region, probably do see that gap fill where CME's closed last Friday, somewhere in the low 17 region. So with that in mind, I still want to keep that open as a as a likely proposition. But with the way the monthly closed, I'm not looking for any sort of a major meltdown to the $12,000 area or below, or even below $14,000 at this point, or at least anytime soon. I look at this as trend in progress, and the way that we closed the monthly now has kind of like cordoned off those ideas as no longer very likely or extremely unlikely. It's just not my main disposition right here. So I do believe that the people waiting for a big bad pullback, as a lot of people were, and myself included, although I wasn't necessarily as low, looking for 14 to 15,000, are going to be left in the dust here, at least for now. It doesn't mean that it can't come back at some later date, but as it stands right now, things are looking pretty damn good. And more importantly, we do see that Bollinger Bands are starting to open up, suggesting that this is the actual move. This is the actual breakout. We align that once again with what we saw over here on the on the data tab with the open interest shooting up as well. That would suggest that this rally again is real. So with that in mind, let's bring up our oh my god, okay, this is quite impressive as well. So not only are we closing above the top side Bollinger Band right now, Though we're also seeing the ADX strengthen while the DMI Plus is dominant. I really like that read as well. And as seen as it's just strengthening right now on the ADX, do I think that that's more or less likely to continue alongside, closing above the top side Toronto band? Yes, I do. In fact, the last time that we saw a similar signature to this, in fact, the only time that we've ever seen a similar signature to this was back on over here on this breakout, March 2016. You'll reference that as when Bitcoin actually did take out that last prior high from the December 2013 rally in the next segment, after playing out about a year long of straight down and sideways. So with that in mind, very similar signature right there. And looking at it from a fundamental perspective as well, Bitcoin, had its halving, somewhere right around here. Bitcoin had its halving somewhere right around here as well, I believe, too. So, kind of from both a technical and a fundamental perspective, combining two different areas of analysis, I would say that, well, more or less to spoil the big surprise, Santa Claus going to be bringing some moon titties. Love it, baby. Fucking love it. And apparently, I have an apology to issue to Grandma as well, because she is, well, if Grandma's been DCAing over the past few years, pretty damn good investor, actually. You know what, Grandma? Hey, it looks like we're not going to be sucking down on some red dildos today. It looks like we might even have some green dildos, Grandma. Don't you love that, Grandma? By the way, massive shout out to the the 3 or so badass crypto grandmas who showed themselves yesterday. That was fucking awesome. That's so cool. That we have such an eclectic community that you can find people not just from anywhere around the world, but of all ages, shapes, and sizes. You gotta fucking love that, man. Anyways, crypto, the great uniter. Anyways, let's also go through on the accumulation distribution indicator, something that I really only check a couple times a month because, well, it doesn't really change all that often. And where are you, sir? Let's see, I should have it saved here somewhere. It's gotta be in my favorites over here. There it is. First one by Dov Caspary, if you want to take it for yourself. And what do you know? We do remain with a positive slope, actually about the same slope that we saw from November as well. So yes, my bias for the month of December is essentially more upside. I do believe that we will officially not just test $20,000, but we're going to live within $20,000. How high do things get? Who the fuck knows? We want to take it one step at a time, but the general bias, yes, is going to be more upside. And of course, with what I said about the monthly Trollander band right here, I would also look at any sort of a test into the $16,000 or $17,000 region as a massive opportunity. I am looking to be a buyer within those regions. Of course, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm happy to share what I'm doing in these sorts of situations and explain myself, because not only does it help myself, you might find that valuable as well. Doesn't mean that's 100% going to be right. Of course, you've seen me be wrong, especially these last few days, like mega fucking wrong. But at the end of the day, always when I'm talking about ideas like this, postulating, trade ideas, it always comes with contingency plans, because that's what makes a good trade over time. So, I do still stick with what I've been saying. It's just, at the end of the day, sometimes you get into really crazy markets like this, and you get price action like this, which is what we love in respect to Bitcoin for. And just do like the fucking red heel emoji like Craig right there. And I'm about as my level of bullishness is Craig level right now. It's kind of fucking funny, but hey, man, it deserves it. So again, at some point, will there be a pullback back down to low 17,000, upper 16,000? Yes, very, very likely. In fact, however, I would be looking at that as an opportunity, not as a future meltdown. And knowing the way that Bitcoin plays, it probably does it like all in the same day. It could even be from where we are right now. But looking at CMEs, as it is, do I think that we're going to come back down and test that today? No, I don't. I think it's more likely that Bitcoin's going to see continuation here first before playing out a pullback. Even though things look incredibly extended, even though things are, very, 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 very frothy right here. We are in the twilight zone as far as I'm concerned. Looking at 4 hour, what do we see? This is on CMEs, by the way. We do see 4 hour Stokes way the fuck up there. I'm curious what spot price action looks like. Yeah, coming down right now as well. So we do see those on the same side. So we are once again in alignment. You typically see this after the weekend period passes. Monday is kind of like a fuck around day, and then Tuesday, that's when everything lines up once again, and we can probably use spot a little bit more accurately. Same thing with 3 hour right here, and CME is doing the same thing as well. So all coming down, bi-hourly down. On spot price action, basically same thing as well. And hourly down after a bit of rejection, and same thing with CMEs here too. So if I am looking at the short-term timeframes, am I looking for a pullback? Yes. Where's short-term pullback target? Well, let's actually go to spot for this one, and let's go maybe to like a 4 hour, and let's see what the 4 hour range is. Yeah, next short-term support would be right under $19,000 at about 18,950. Do I think that we get all the way down there? Yes, probably. I also would be looking for a bounce around there as well. How high does that bounce bounce get, or do we reverse back on to, basically new all-time highs into 20,000 and beyond? I don't really have a strong opinion on that. My strong opinion is on using our current high structure as a continuation point. It's not going to be that helpful, and I do want to apologize for that fact. Oh, nice, we actually did hit that level just about to the T. Nice one. Hey, every once in a while, man. Every once in a while, it fucking works, huh? But more importantly with this, my general bias, my general disposition is up. It's just areas of interest to the downside. So the same areas that I was interested in yesterday to the upside, I'm going to be interested in to the downside as well. So that's going to be right here. Actually, we can move this up a little bit so it's in line with the 10 simples. That's going to make a little bit more sense. About 18.9. Then we got the 21 hanging out right here at that 18.5, 18.6 pivot, which we can mark off as well. This one I imagine is going to be a little bit less important. Then of course we got the 18.250 breakout. Then of course we got the 17.9 breakout, all of these relevant over the weekend, and then the 17.5 area right here as well. So it's not necessarily that I'd have like a call to say, hey, we're definitely going to come down, to this level right here. No, I'd still go one by one, but the levels are very well documented, very well set in stone, and well, I quite like this as a range trader first and foremost. Potentially looking for a more long-term long position, very likely sometime this month actually, but not necessarily right here just yet. Even if Bitcoin does continue upwards and onwards from where we are right now, I do believe that at some point we will come back down and fill out this area right here. The question is, how high do we get before that actually happens, or is it happening from this area as it is right here? I don't have a strong opinion on that, and I don't think that's appropriate for me to do that, because I think that, realistically, all these areas here are still very much relevant. So I don't want to front run my own self and get into that weird conundrum of like trying to predict price action. That's like something that a lot of people really just have massively wrong about trading and about doing analysis. Like I understand people who don't, who don't really have much experience or completely like outside of this realm, think that like as a trader you're just supposed to be right, or you're supposed to like predict things. That's not it. All you're doing is coming up with little statistical edges here and there that give you a probability that over time you're going to be more successful than not if you follow that as somewhat of a workable entry. Obviously this is going to be mediated by your position management, and then on the other side you got risk management. That's the basis of anything, and for the love of fucking God, I feel like I should probably just make a public video about that, but fair enough. As it is right now, we're actually going to be working on that in the app, and you will be able to you'll be able to fill out your own data for that on the app with the next update, I believe, which is coming relatively soon, definitely before the end of the year, or I shouldn't say definitely, but extremely likely before end of year, and maybe even before Christmas, which would be super cool. But keep an eye out for that, because we're actually going to be able to massively customize the app in any way that you want. You're going to be able to set alerts for yourself in ways that TradingView will not let you, and I couldn't be more excited about it. I fucking love our developers. They're great, and it's been an absolute pleasure to work with them. I don't know if they're listening right now or not, but it doesn't matter. I love you guys. You guys are great. Anyways, let's go over, and we only checked out Stokes. Let's go check out our other momentum oscillators. Joule, not giving me shit. 4-hour RSI is back into the bullish control zone, but I would be looking for it to kind of play back down a little bit towards the edge of the bullish control zone, fill out a little more space there. But overall, again, this is your constructive read long term. This is still very good. Short term, though, I probably would postulate a little bit of short term downside. Historical volatility percentile is once again expanding, or is it expanding? I want to see that moving average flip back around, but Jesus Christ, man, this is just an impressive rally right here. 3-hour, what do we see? We do see a little bit of a local high being put in right now. You could even call that very remedial reading of bearish divergence. You wouldn't actually define this by by the book, and Caretaker's RSI is not defining this one by the book, but I actually do typically see this read play out right here, but it does not get like the super downside move. It'll get like the next nearest, which would be that that $19,000 level that we postulated on the 4-hour, and 3-hour RSI, basically coming back down to the edge of bullish control zone. I have the same thing to say here about the 4-hour. It's constructive long term, short term a little bit of downside though. So again, setting in the biases and then mediating that with the current on the short term, and going into the buy hourly right here, expansion on HVP. Price action move to the upside, and momentum also just suggesting a little bit of short-term downside. So fair enough with that. And again, I'd say somewhere around 18.9, and I would be looking for a short-term bounce there. And then we'll come back to it after that. Moving on to the hourly, what do we see right here? Again, momentum also just off to the downside right now. Do we potentially have hidden bullish evidence in formation right here? If it does confirm a local low right here, then yes, and I'd be looking for another move back up towards about 19.6, and then Bitcoin maybe comes back down to like 18.9, something like that. But for right now, things kind of are hanging at a relatively high level. So, actually, we do have a bit of a dual sell signal here too. So does that supersede what I just said? Well, obviously, yes, because this is not a confirmed local low as it is just yet. But if you do see this confirm as a local low on the hourly, I'd first look for a rally back up to about 19.6 first, and then probably, and then if you see any sort of, rejection signs right there, then yes, I do think that the next move down to about 18.9 probably does happen from that region. But again, it's just level by level right now, level by level. And what's our last level to the, what's our most nearest level to the downside? Because that is obviously going to be very much relevant. Let's see what the 12-hour says. Yeah, we can use it. We can use this on a 12-hour actually rather easily, and that's going to be 19,300, which we've actually already come back down and tested a little bit of backfill right there. Well, not necessarily the proper implementation of that, but you get my point. What I'm saying is that if this area right here does hold, and I really want to see it hold on, at the very least like a 4-hour total time frame, could a 2-hour be used as well? A 2-hour probably could be used, but I'd actually move that point down, maybe more so like 19,250, and then yes, I'd be looking for an extension of about $300-400 down to about 18.9, where I'd be looking for the next short-term bounce, and then come back and basically do the same thing. Overall though, I do want to be on the record as saying Bitcoin is bullish here, fucking obviously, but does that mean that the short term has to be like straight up to the moonshot? I'd still maintain, somewhat of a semblance of in reality, hopefully. But again, like I said yesterday, dumb bulls are going to make more money than smart bears in a bull market. And, as a trader, someone who's been doing this for a long time now, or at least what I would consider a long time, especially in context of my life expectancy, but, about a decade, people who have zero experience trading are going to be making a shit ton more money than me on these moves to the upside here, because they're just going to be buying the whole way up, and I'm going to be taking, and as you've been seeing, I've been taking positions off, at all these relevant levels. So obviously I'm going to be behind. Same thing happened in 2017 as well, but the purpose is to keep it. And as we all know, years like 2018 and 2019 certainly do happen as well, and even a little bit of 2020 here too. And that's really, where that skill actually comes in. So fair enough, enjoy it while it lasts, my friends. Enjoy it while it lasts, because this is special stuff right here. A lot of people have been waiting, for the last 3 years for something like this. We started this channel in March 2018, and it's been pretty damn cool to see, multiple different market cycles go on throughout that time, and now we're seeing like an actual macro breakout, which is pretty fucking exciting. Let's go to the 12-hour here. 12-hour Stokes still nice and direct AF, back in the bullish control zone, so looking good on the medium-term time frame. So lower-term time frames, maybe a little bit more of a pullback here. Yes, medium-term time frame still good. Hidden bullish divergence did play out on the 12-hour that we spoke about yesterday. Also, it was present on the daily here too, which we'll get into in just a second. But yes, I'd be looking for the next test down to the exponential to get picked back on up. And historical volatility percentile getting red as fuck here, but it is technically still expanding. So this move is still in progress according to the 12-hour, although it's getting damn hot, really fucking hot, I should say. But technically speaking, expanding for now, and I'd respect it. I'd respect her with the utmost of intent. Anyways, moving on to the daily. What do we see here? This is very powerful here too. Okay, daily Stokes all the way down to the edge of the bullish control zone, and now postulating across the upside. If we close basically anywhere above, I'd imagine like 19,250 to 19,300ish region, I'd essentially be looking for Bitcoin to make new highs on this run. That's only to be decided on a daily, though. Remember, this is gonna be a lot here. But we also do have hidden bullish divergence playing out on the daily RSI as well. Although I would say that's pretty much played out. At least the obvious move from that. I'd be looking for momentum also to now kind of take over. And this is kind of what I like to see, because when we're in a strong trending move, which this is certainly a very strong trending move right here, what I'm looking for on momentum oscillators, especially like Stokes, is not for the turns downs, even though, there are some good ways to get that, as we spoke about, over the past like couple months with the 12-hour, which finally happened last week. But it's really the signals that are granted in the same side of the trend. So in this case, a signal to the upside alongside an uptrend. That would be pretty damn powerful and would certainly make me look for the next move to the upside. And seeing as we do have a range here, we actually can make another projection and another extension. So what I'm going to do now is, let's maybe do this on a 4-hour. We can come up with the next set of targets based off the last little consolidation, if you even want to call it that. I'll just call it a fucking face melt right there. But something like this is what I'd be looking towards. Let's see just that everything kind of lines up with each other. 236 right here, good. 382 right here, 0.5 right here, 618 right here. Excellent. All these things are lined up with each other. So that is lovely. And it would postulate that your first very short-term target is actually going to be 20,000 bucks on the dot if this area does break right here. The next sort of more medium-term time frame target is going to be about 20,400 at the one spot 414. But typically speaking, when you see something break out from something like this, a structure like this, these are only short-term, only relevant for the short term. Realistically, we're looking for like the 2-spot 272 or the 2-spot 414. These are actually the more likely ones, typically speaking. Not always, but typically speaking. And the 2-spot right here is going to be your pattern target as well, and that's about 22,000 bucks. So that's a crazy thing to say, but yes, I would be looking for price action to essentially just float its way upwards and onwards there over the next couple months, assuming that Bitcoin essentially just closes above our current high, which is 19,730. 19,700, we'll just say. And, based off what we saw in the monthly, do I think that that's going to happen? Yeah, I do. I do think that's going to happen, probably even in December as well. Or it certainly wouldn't be out of question here. Anyways, back onto the daily, and what do we see? Historical volatility percentile still expanding here, getting redder, but it can certainly get more red. And I would not really look for a high on this current run with the daily in mind until we do see this get healthily into the deep 90s for multiple reads in a row. I'm talking about like four to 8 reads in a row. And then perhaps, we would be looking at, the next major local high. For example, same thing over here in coronavirus dump times. Actually, this one hit on like the 3rd or 4th on the actual low, but actually on the actual, on about the 3rd or 4th. Same thing in 2014, or sorry, not 2014, but 2019, $14,000 high right here. Same thing on this high right here before playing out a nice little retracement. You get the idea. So that's essentially what I'm looking for to denote the next local high. And as you saw right here as well, actually, as we go back to this level, while this did produce a pretty nasty pullback, it doesn't look much like much on log scale, but let's just put this in perspective right here. This was that wick actually was down like another 25%, but even just from base to base is going to be 16%. That's pretty relevant move right there. So it eventually did continue onwards and upwards. Yes, but not before playing out about a month or so of sideways. So, still things do take time, obviously, but it's all in motion right now, and that's actually rather exciting. So, moving on to the 2-day, what do we see right here? Oh my God! The 2-day was a chart of destiny yesterday too. I remember looking at the 2-day and just having to pausing to reflect for a little bit. I'd even go as far as saying that we actually do have no, we don't. And you can't really say that on this one right here. I was going to say that we have hidden bullish evidence, but no, that's not true. 2-day historical volatility percentile is moonshotting right now. There you go. And the 3-day, this is what is the most impressive to myself. The 3-day historical volatility percentile is expanding. Now, technically speaking, the moving average has not gotten into into an expansive posturing here just yet. So this is like could actually get way more crazy, if anything. Fuck, man, I'm starting to sound like a goddamn moon boy here. I guess it would be better to sound like a moon boy in a bull market, so fair enough. God damn it, man. I'm becoming the thing that I swore I would never become. But gotta call a spade, I guess. So yes, expanding from this level right here, technically hasn't even done the obvious expansion either with the moving average, flipping back to the upside there. But more importantly, this is all coming alongside an upside move. So make of that as you will. I mean, make of that as you will. The last time that we had a very low reading was actually back on over here. This one never really got going though. You'll see that the moving average was downslope the whole way through. So that was a good signal that was, it was a pretty damn powerful move, to be fair, going from 9,000 to 12,500, but it wasn't like the face melter that you saw right here from about 10,000 all the way down to 4,000 right here. But similar sorts of things. But this one, a lot more of an obvious one, as the moving average does get a positive slope while the historical volatility percentile is living above, and that gets done after that first, major doom drop right there. So I'm kind of looking for something similar over here, but preferably to the upside. And how crazy can things get? I mean, we're basically in a blue sky breakout already as far as I'm concerned. We closed on new all-time highs as far as the monthly goes, as far as the 3-day goes. Technically not a weekly, but what matters more, a weekly or a monthly? Fucking monthly every goddamn time. So fair enough. Anyways, so yeah, I guess just wrapping up my words, bullish. Also wanted to show this as well. I probably should have started off with this one, but going back to CMEs over here, this is the 3-day, and the 3-day is closing tonight at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. This is CMEs after all. And once again, I mean, if that ain't power, I don't know what the fuck is. 3 days technically have not closed any 3-day dildos below the topside Toronto band here on CMEs. Once again, CME. Telling the truth, sir. Telling the motherfucking truth. So there you go. I mean, that's power. That's fucking power on increasing volume too. Wow. You don't get to see that all that often. I mean, and the reason why I'm kind of pausing a lot here is because I do have to also remind myself that these sorts of things, they don't. I'm not trying to like make anyone emotional here, but they emotional in the sense of like FOMOing or anything like that. But these sorts of situations, they don't really happen all that often. Few times a decade at most. I've only had the pleasure of seeing like a couple of them in traditional markets. And this is my first one, like actually looking at in real time on Bitcoin. I was there in 2016 and 2017, but I wasn't like really, it wasn't my full focus until about 2018, I'd say. But yeah, very impressive stuff, incredibly impressive stuff. Also, even on the daily right here, the next big signal that I'd be looking for on the daily, any sort of a closure above $20,000 alongside DMI plus, which is already dominant, and ADX strengthening, which is technically not happening right now, but could. And that would very likely bring the MACD back above that level as well. Someone needs to make a reverse MACD. That'd be pretty damn cool. But yeah, if that were to happen, that's going to be the next. It's not just going to stop at fucking $20,000. That's when that $22,000 target looks not just plausible, but likely, as we spoke about earlier. So the general message of this stream right here, or this video right here, is essentially bullish. Yes, there will be pullbacks at some point. I do believe that there will be a pullback down to, $17,000 or whatever it ends up being, probably even in December. But I am looking for new all-time highs officially, and in the general disposition is more upside, and that is likely to be the next big opportunity somewhere within that region, 17 or 6, anywhere within the low 17s or high $16,000 region would look very, 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 very nice. Okay, cool. So we're 27 minutes into this bitch, and I have barely even brushed the surface. No. Let's go over and check out Mrs. Link. Actually, let's go to my Linky charts over here. And, with Bitcoin being bullish, most things are going to be bullish versus US dollar. Link going to be no exception with this one, as, I'd be looking for it to likely pop back up towards $15.50. Looking fucking good here, as, wow. Jesus, man. Yeah, daily Stoch's about to cross back onto the upside as well, rejecting the bearish control zone. Quite good. Hidden bullish divergence on daily RSI. It's almost like you get a bit of a DeLorean trade here with some of the altcoins. So Link looking pretty damn good. I imagine that the monthly closed rather nicely as well, or did it? Yeah, it did. I'd be looking for this one to retest the all-time high. I'd probably be looking for it to make new all-time highs over time. Link, powerful. I do respect the Link, although I've literally never owned a single fucking Link, and I've been singing its praises ever since it was summer of 2018 when someone first brought it up and to my attention somewhere over here, and it was like, oh, this thing's actually doing something way different than Bitcoin. That's quite impressive. And a few years later, well, looks like if only I took my own advice, that'd be great. Then again, looking at Mr. Buterol over here, $800 target. Really fucking good. really, really fucking good. Now, I also believe that there's going to be a pullback back down to like $500 at some point too, but that's going to be an opportunity. $500 base. Let's look at the daily right here. Closing on new highs on that rally. Quite nice. What about the weekly? Continuation. I mean, next pivot is going to be, next pivot's going to be on the weekly 720, on the monthly 800. Powerful stuff. Golden cross right there too. Not bad. It's quite nice here. Quite nice. Let's look at the lower term time frame for this one as well. Looks pretty much the same chart as Bitcoin. So, does it want to have a short term pullback back down, to 590 or maybe even deeper than that towards 575? No strong opinions there. Long term up. Let's see. Do we want to check out anything else? Maybe. What about Ripple? Ripple's got to be doing well during this whole nonsense too. It's gonna, it's likely to pop back up towards about 63 cents right here, short term. Or sorry, no, it's not 63, 69 cents. Great number. I'm a Ripple fan now. Next area of caution going to be about 90 cents region monthly. Same thing. Yeah, pretty damn good here. Everything's going to rally together for the most part. We saw the same shit in 2015 to 2018. Litecoin, next area of relevancy is going to be about 125. Quite good. And I think that pretty much does it for that. Would this be a good time to go wrap this bitch up? Let's go check out what Caretaker's Magic is saying over here. Technically, by the way, since we are on the TA Nerd session right now, it's actually technically available. I haven't put up the actual sales video for it just yet. But it is, it is available on the app right now. I'll just leave it right there, and I'll probably put up the video like either today or sometime later this week. But yeah, looking at it right now, you can see actually with the reverse stoke right here that if we do close anywhere above 19,250 today, I'm essentially looking for new highs on this run, as momentum also just will turn back up northwards. And we can just kind of judge ranges here, but I imagine that these ranges are going to naturally expand if that condition is met. So I wouldn't necessarily actually look for this to be the ultimate region there, although it does it actually does naturally line up with that next $22,000 target right here, which is pretty damn good. But I'd actually go down to a lower term time frame like this, and I'd judge it right here on like the 4 hours. So next short term to the upside would be like 20,300 or something like that. So fair enough. Anyways, back on to the main charts over here. I think it's time to wrap this bitch up. You hear that? Anyways, let's start it off with the biggest, baddest, and most important information. Actually, let me get this all queued up right here before we get into this. And here we go. Okay, first and foremost, or what do we want to start up with first and foremost? First and foremost, monthly Challenger bands closing above quite healthily. Yes, at some point, I do believe we will come back down and test around the top side Challenger band, but the way that this monthly close does now put in the bias of looking for more upside over time, meaning new all-time highs, meaning Bitcoin probably to like 22,000, maybe even 23,000 over the next couple months. But I would look at this as a major opportunity, and yes, I do believe that it will get tested over some, probably even in December, but that will be an opportunity, at least for myself. Of course, this is not financial advisor. But that does set in the bias right there. On top of that, we do have the accumulation distribution indicator over here, once again retaining a positive slope. I only care about slope analysis on this one. It's gotten pretty much all of the macro rallies and macro dumps perfectly right since the genesis of Bitcoin, and we have another month basically of the same slope that we saw in November. So I'd essentially be having a bullish bias overall here. On top of that, we do see that the ADX is strengthening officially now in the month of December, while the DMI Plus is dominant. This is on a fucking monthly, by the way. So all of these do align for essentially more upside. If we go back to our regular charts over here, we did do a bit of a Fibonacci extension, which would suggest that the next area of relevancy to the upside for the higher term timeframes would be probably somewhere around 22,000 to 23,000, and that's where I'd be looking for the next, sort of like major cool off. Now there will be a few areas of interest on the way up before then on the lower term timeframes, obviously, right around the 1.272 at 20,000 even, and which you could say that we already tested, and the 1.414 at about 20,400, which is in line with one of the targets that we looked at earlier. So with that in mind, I do want to say that on the lower term timeframes here, yes, there will be pullbacks. Yes, there will be, probably incredibly nasty moves, incredibly violent moves. But at the end of the day, the general bias for this month is the upside. if Bitcoin does close a 2-hour or 4-hour dildo below 19,250, I would look for about a $300 or $400 extension all the way down to 18.9 before I look for the next bounce, also in line with the 886 fib right here. If that area does fail, or at the very least, I think that it'd bounce on a very low term time frame, then I'd look for a move down to the 21 exponential moving average on the 4-hour, which is also in line with the 786 prior bracket area as well. Classic shit, right? So just it'd still be relevant all on the way down here. And then of course at some point, maybe in December or January, I'd be looking for a test back down to fill the CME gap, which was somewhere in the low $17,000 region, and that would also be in line with what we see on the trailing bands for the monthly on Bitcoin spot as well. So I like all those things together. My general disposition is more upside for the month of December. I do believe that we're going to make not only new all-time highs, but probably significantly new all-time highs. However, there will be pullbacks. The real question to me right now is, does Bitcoin pull back first before further continuation of the upside, or does it bulldoze through to the upside first before playing out, before playing out a downside move? And if I did have to call it right now, I probably would be looking at the very least for a move down to 18.9. But as you've seen, these moves are more or less, it's not about predicting a move from here to here. Not that you can even do that to begin with. It's about playing the move when it does actually happen, because this is where your edge is, right here, not right here, but right here or right here. Those are the areas where I can actually set up a trade plan with an entry, exit, and position management, obviously. But I feel like that's important to reiterate, because apparently people have it in their in their mind's eye that I don't know, if you're a trader, you just are always right or something like that, which is not the case in my experience. The idea is to make your losses as small as possible and continue on with the gains when your edge tells you to take a trade. Anyways, I think that's going to do it for this video. Fuck, I forgot to talk about this. By the way, for anyone who's still listening, we have the sale going on still for, I guess, today, Tuesday, and then tomorrow's the last day. So I'll keep this at the end here. I guess people already know anyway, so it's not a big deal. But 20% off on all the programs. No code is needed, no code necessary, no nothing like that. Watch the videos that accompany them. It's very important for you to make the decision for yourself if it's appropriate for you or not. I won't go through the full rigmarole in a video like this, because that's what these videos are here for. But understand that most people are just not going to be applicable to these programs. They are really, 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 really in depth. They're fucking long, and especially the options program is going to have a deep learning curve. So with that in mind, I would say that watch the videos. They're going to let you know, they're going to give you more information on that, which you can make a better decision for yourself. The Neophytes program over here, a lot more simple, a lot more remedial. It is also a lot less of a financial and time commitment in comparison to these ones over here, and perhaps a better way to start if you are on the edge and you want to dip your toes in, but not financially commit in the way that you would have to with these programs over here. The PineScript Mastery is from Mr. Morenfall, the creator of the Jewel himself, on how to code your own indicators in PineScript. And then on top of that, we got our partners tab over here. Oh, Mr. Caretaker STC is officially up and live, it looks like. 2 words for your info box. Love it. Nice one. I'll put up a video for that sometime this week, but it is there for you, for anyone who's listening this far in now. And he's also got the RSI. That is now a lifetime purchase, no longer annual. So if you ever bought this indicator, regardless of whether it was like a couple months ago or today or sometime in the future, you got it for life. We've gone through and applied this retroactively. You don't need to do anything. It's all good. On top of that, we got Mr. Jackie with his group mentoring project over here as well. That's going to be a more curated group, very, very small, where Jackie will actually go over your trades with you on a week-to-week basis and talk out any sort of issues that you might be running into, sticking points like that. And then he also does have his video program here too, which is more or less a just like a video representation of what you, or a small snippet of what you might get on, on the actual mentoring program over there. But definitely give it a go. It is going to be more focused on psychology aspect of trading, and he's the guy to go to for something like that. So with that said, I would like to wish you the best once again. Take care, and until next time.